Right, so Ryan, code name. He is autistic and has ADHD. He currently is not on any medication, but mum told me that he has been in the past, and he was like a zombie, so they took him off, kind of thing. All good, family's choice, you know. I have never had him with like when he's on medication, so I don't actually know what he's like for myself, you know, like my own opinion. He's he's really lovely and he's really really clever. He gets like obsessed with things. Like one for like a whole month, he just like rapped Eminem and like told me it was a new artist, and I was like, sweetie, no, but that's okay. And then he gets obsessed with like researching tall towers or like really random stuff, but that's okay. And um, with this week in particular with him, because he's got all these behaviors that he does that the other two don't necessarily have. I've been doing a lot of like observing and like processing, analyzing, like why is he doing that? Who is he with? Where are we physically? Like what space are we in? What happened just before this? What time of the day is it? What day of the week? You know, like stuff like that. Trying to like see if there's a pattern or like what is triggering him to like have these when he like acts out and stuff, you know. A couple that I will quickly mention is one of them is eye contact that I've really noticed whenever he is flustered or, you know, like he's nervous to ask me something because he knows I'm going to say no, or somebody's upset him, or, you know, like, and he's not happy, he instantly, like, he'll put his head down and he'll talk to me, but like this, and he won't look at me in the eye. That can be triggered by literally anyone or anything that makes him feel like, you know, like when his heart's a bit like, and he's nervous or upset or anything like that. When he's not happy, eye contact is just like gone. And that can happen. That happens in lots of different situations and like physical spaces. So it's not just a classroom thing. And like, I don't have a problem with that because I know, like, I can understand why he doesn't want to look me in the eye because it's like so much is going on. And he was trying to like contain himself almost because he's, you know, like dulling one sense, I guess. I don't know. Like, I know he's not just being rude. It's like an actual thing for him. So I don't really mind it, you know, and like that's something we can work on. Another thing that I've noticed but never noticed that I noticed, if that makes any sense, is that he acts out every time we go to music. Every time. And I only realised that I had realised that, like, unconsciously, subconsciously, because I was saying to my reliever last Friday, I was on call release last Friday, by the way, Ryan's going to act out when you go to music. 99% he's going to walk out of the classroom and you won't notice him leaving, so keep an eye on him because he won't say anything, he just kind of sneaks out. He will go here, you need to go and say this kinds of things to him, this is the line I've been using and it's been working, you know, please use the same line. And this, you know, if you say this to him, he will come back inside with you. And as I was saying it to her, the reliever, I was like, oh my God, he does it every week. Like, I've noticed it, but I didn't process it. You know what I mean? I didn't analyze it. And I think for him, and we kind of have talked about it in like in our own way, it's because there's a piano. And I know that seems really weird, but there's a piano in the music room. And he really loves to play piano. So he acts out in the music room because he wants to go play the piano. Obviously, right? That's his thing. He wants to go and play it. And I think I've heard him play a couple times and he's not awful, you know. But he needs to be participating in what the teacher is doing and the learning about beats or whatever we're doing. He can't just go and play piano for an hour because that's not fair to everyone else. That's not what the lesson is about. So he gets upset because I say no or because the other teacher says no, the music teacher. So he leaves. He doesn't throw a tantrum, he doesn't scream, he doesn't do anything, he just leaves. And it was kind of funny because I had said to the reliever, by the way, he's going to leave, this is what you do, rah rah. She all of a sudden realised that he wasn't in the room and she like freaked out, processing, oh my God, I should have told me this, he'll be here, and he wasn't. So she like freaked out, but it was he went somewhere else with the deputy principal, it was fine. But it was just funny that like I had said that and then he left for a different reason, but like, I don't know, it was funny. Yeah. So, excuse me. So the music room is a trigger for him as well. Every week he leaves. And like I can get him to come back in and we talk about respecting not me but the other teacher. And that if we listen to the whole lesson and we participate and stuff, maybe at the end we can ask him if we can play the piano, stuff like that. Something else that I've noticed for him, and this, it's something that I was doing or realizing without realizing I was realizing it, was I always have him sitting right next to me. And, at the beginning it was like a conscious thing because he's going to get distracted by all these other people. So it was like, okay, just come here so you can focus. But for him now it's become like a safety thing. We had the puberty talks on Thursday, and I could tell that he was upset and uncomfortable because he doesn't do well in big crowds, and there was 70 kids in the same room. So he was like, oh, So I went and like sat, at the back, and I was making a Kahoot or whatever, but just having a physical proximity to me made him feel safer. So he literally moved from one side of his group, they were sitting in a circle, to the other side so he could be kind of next to my foot or next to my leg. And then he was listening, he was fully engaged, not necessarily in the discussion because the group is like, oh, too much. But, he was listening. He asked really good questions later on. I was like, oh my God, I would not have thought of that question as an 11-year-old or 10-year-old. But it was really good. But yeah, it made me realize like, oh my God, I do that and I do it on purpose without realizing that I'm doing it. Is that I always, either, depending where we are, either I move him close to me or I move close to him, so then he feels calmer because I'm there. And I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm the solution, rah, rah, rah. It's just because he's familiar with me and he knows, how I'm going to react and what I'm going to say to him, and he knows very clearly what the expectations are. Where if it's with the other kids in the class, sometimes they're a bit more tolerant with him than others, so he doesn't always know how they're going to react. And especially he's friends with like Kian and stuff who reacts differently every time you talk to him. So the predictability is not there, whereas it's safer with me because he knows what the boundaries are. He knows what I want from him. He knows what I'm not going to put up with. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was another thing that I kind of observed this week. And we have this thing where we make deals. So a lot of the time he doesn't want to do what everyone else is doing. Everyone has those moments, that's fine. I don't take it personally. But we make deals, and it's been working in the past few weeks especially, where I'll say to him like, okay, yep, you need to finish one paragraph, whatever it is, and then you can show me your writing about Tall Towers. Yep, I will read your Eminem lyrics that you said that you wrote, but you didn't, because I know Eminem lyrics. When you go and finish your Google drawing, then I will read that thing that you have made. And we kind of make deals like that where he gets what he wants from me because he wants the acknowledgement of his work and his, my like approval, I guess, I don't know. But I also want him to do my work, so it's like a deal, and it kind of works. Yeah, that's where he's at. He academically, I mean, like if we still had national standards, he would be below, but borderline well below. But like he can read, he can write by himself when he focuses. He came from not a New Zealand school, I won't say where, but he came from another country, and they taught him algorithm, which is all good. Algorithm's great, but I'm all about place value and place value partitioning before you do algorithm, so you understand what you're doing. Like that's like a huge thing in my class. Nobody does algorithm until you can do place value. So every time we do maths, he's like, but can I do it my way? And I'm like, yep, if you can explain it to me. That's like the whole thing is if you can explain what you're doing, oral language, or and he can't. And then I'm like, can you try it my way? And then he kind of like shuts down because he doesn't want to try the new thing, and like because he knows one way and he knows for him how it works, but like he can't. I don't know, because he hasn't grown up in the numeracy project. He doesn't have the like number knowledge skill that the other kids kind of have. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, he can do algorithm, so he's like, he thinks he's fine, and he thinks he's like awesome. but he can't actually explain it and doesn't actually understand what he's doing when he's like carrying the one or whatever it is. So that can cause tension during maths because I'm like, but what did you do? Why is the one there? He's like, and like that's okay for him to not know and not understand it. Oops. Whereas for me, I'm like, actually, you need to understand why that one is there. It's not okay for you to just be like, meh. So that's interesting. He, as well, he gets into like little fights, not like fist fights, but like little disagreements and stuff, because I don't know if it's that he can't always understand why people are doing things, or maybe he just doesn't care, or like I don't know what it is, but he always gets into like little tiny disagreements with people. And the other day it was becoming a punch up, and I just walked up to him, kind of grabbed him in like a hug position, turned around, and I was walking and he was kind of walking with me because I was holding on to him, and by the time we'd taken 5 steps he was calm. I could feel his body relax, and then I was like, just come in and you can sit with me and read, come on. And he came in, completely forgot about it, completely moved on, and it was over. And I was like, yes, instead of it becoming like a whole drama and then you have to like interview them all and whatever. He is really good at, like when I take him away, he's good at leaving it behind. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. So he's an interesting one, and I think I've had him for long enough now that I'm like used to him, because other teachers or like teacher aides and stuff will say to me like, oh, he did this at morning tea, and I'm like, yeah. And like they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's because rah rah rah. And like I have this full justification of why he did it, or whatever, or like it's a thing for him, and like I know him so well now that I like forget that some of those things aren't very normal, because it's so normal for him and for me and for us that I kind of don't think about it, which I don't know. I kind of think it's nice that we have that such good relationship, and I know him so well that I don't, in my own mind, I don't consider him to like be the odd one out in class. Like he's part of the class, and I'm so used to him that I don't see him like that. I don't know what I mean. Anyway, that's him for now.